One in and one's outside the door and already wants to come in, but it's time to film the Hattons box. Let's see what we're supposed to have got and what we've got. Yeah, he's in. It didn't end long, did it? Scratching at the door, sniffing at the door. Right, that's going to fall over. We have a box full of goodies again. Actually, I think this is the most lines I have purchased. Not the biggest bill, but yeah, and obviously again they've left the checking list right at the bottom. So, let's have a look-see. Well, excuse the unhoovered carpet, it's one of the joys of owning a husky. Vehicles first. Bay window camper van. They're 176 scale. This is a Herpa Sprinter, Volkswagen LT. That would be a long wheelbase. As you can see, there is a little bit of noticeable difference, because that would be quite a bit larger than an old 1970s bus. But no worries, some of these I did buy possibly to sell on. 308 Merc, good old bus they were, when Mercedes could still make vehicles that didn't fall to bits. HO scale Porsche 911 Carrera Cabriolet. Did I drive one of them? I don't think I had a Cabriolet. 911 GT and an RS. I used one for a wedding car. Never owned one though. Unfortunately I got married, so I never had the money for a Porsche. An old Scania flatbed. It's one of the many Stobart trucks. These were all brand new stock. I only buy them because one, they're cheap, two, you can do a code 3 on them, which is basically customise it into something else other than what it started off as. So with that in mind, we have bought a Scania again to code 3, turn it into another haulier's livery or whatever. Carorama, which is 172 scale. So as you can see over there, that's a Samba splitty Volkswagen bus. This is the bay window. 172 is not far off being usable, but I only bought them because it's Volkswagen and I have collected many die-cast Volkswagens. So either way, that will go on the layout or in the display cabinet. But there was those, and some more cars. You have the Ford Sierra. Nothing special about that. I think it's just a bog standard one. I used to drive about in them. There's a car hire. An awful, truly awful creation by British Leyland. Well, everything British Leyland created was fairly awful, but this was one of their pinnacles. The Austin Allegro estate car. Not many people bought the estate. They're little, well, what you'd call it, wasn't a hatchback, was it? I don't think. It had a boot lid, or trunk for the Americans. But this is the station wagon variant. Oh God, they were horrible. Less. And a Ford Fiasco again. Britain's best-selling car at one time. My nan won one of these in the Lynn lottery. We promptly sold it because she'd never driven. Never drove a day in her life. So yeah, that was another one. I did have another one, but they stiffed me on it because my credit card company decided to issue me with a new card for no reason, so my payment details weren't reactivated, and it got put in my box. And instead of them phoning me up to say we can't charge you, have you got a new card, they said we can't charge you, we've put it back in stock, if you want it, buy it again, which is probably already sold again. This is the old Ford Capri again, another one, quite a common sight. Poor man's Mustang. This one is Bodie's car from CI5, The Professionals. The last time Britain made a good TV episode series, back in the 70s. And an iconic car that I always wanted and could never afford, an Audi Quattro Sport. So that's the closest I'll ever get to ever owning one. And a Leyland road train, their commercial articulated vehicle. Seems to have a bit of an odd chassis, but I suggest with it being a base toys it's probably a generic chassis. Yes, it is. Here's 3 mounting points there for different axles for different cabs. They're not terribly accurate, but it's the closest thing you can get to something other than all of the Atlas Oxford stuff. So yeah, they were a sight on many a fleet operator, because although they were an awful lorry, they were quite robust and they were cheap, so all of the big companies bought them because they were basically a bit like the Fords are in America, all corporate, all cheap discount, buy the cheapest thing there is to lease. And there's another one in yellow, so we could press it into BR service perhaps. And that's obviously got a low loader for a bit of machinery. I've been after these, they don't turn up very often. So we got one of them. I have driven those at work along with the Scanias. So that was the vehicles. Some of the wagons, we got some more, I think PCAs are they, these cement tanker wagons. Whoops, that's a Dapol one, which normally go for a bit more money than they charged me for this one, so I snapped it up. Here's the identical counterpart from Lima. Again, this is an old one, but it's never been used. All the detail and parts are still in the box. I've bought a few from the Twine train fairs for about £10–11. This was similar money, so I just snapped it up, because they ain't that cheap on eBay, which makes a change for Hattons. This strange moulding is to actually fit in the really basic coaches. It's actually for the ratio kit, but it will serve other ones. It's just some generic seating, if you can imagine. That's the profile. That's sort of like the bulkhead of the seat and the compartment. That's the bit where your bum goes. So you just trim them to fit the old style carriages. A couple of 4th radius curves, and they are obviously as new because they've still got the stickers on them. Little detailing pack, just guttering for going on houses, and a little yard office kit. They were sort of £3–4. LED, well, I think this is an earlier grain of wheat bulb version, but it's the same signal, just they changed the technology and the illumination. But that was about £5. Some of these I've been after, which is the DCC Concept little power springs that you fit to the axles, and then obviously the current is collected via the wheel to the axle, and to these you solder a wire, pass it up into the coach or whatever, and use it as a power feed. I used to make something very similar to that at work, which is why I was reluctant to buy them, but I wanted to see what they were like, what the quality was like, and these were cheaper than they normally are, so they were grabbed. This is a Fowler kit. I don't know whether it's also sold under Gauge Master. It's got like a site office, you know, 2 container type cabins, offices, and you can sort of keep buying and stacking them together like a modular office block. We've got some signal laddering again. I think this is a ratio product for signals. Obviously the ladders are quite a small, low profile. They've got the little safety hoops on them as well, so they might come in useful for that refinery I purchased for additional laddering, although that's a bit smaller. But yeah, just handy again, just a little filler. These are the kit wagon roofs, which I sometimes carefully carve out that top bit, and you can fit them on Hornby wagons. They don't really fit a lot else unless you modify them, all the Pico kits, but they're always handy just if you do pick up a bundle of wagons and there's a roof missing. Then you can retrofit one of them. Packet of the old connectors. These were, I think, £1 or £2. Model powers, Bachmann type coupling, or KDs. I think they're plastic ones, but we'll see how we get on with them. They were cheap and cheerful. Then I got a stack of the model power figures. These were all ones they've dropped them in price. They're like £2 a pack, £3 a pack, £4 a pack. So we went to town and bought a load more. Obviously you can mix them in with other figures to make it look less obvious that you've got loads of the same. And obviously I will have quite a few different scenes with people in different poses and little cameo scenes. So we bought a stack of them, and whoops, we got the well, it's the old Mertin, but I think they're Knock or Fowler now. These are the Hunters in various poses. There's a couple with shotguns and some with rifles. So yeah, I thought we'd get those. Might paint them up. They are a little bit, they're not sort of as thick a build, which seems to be a thing with the old style Mertin figures. So, bottom of the box. Right, there's 3 there and 1 there, so I won't. Right, they're all the same Redland PGAs. So I think we can call PGAs done, because there's a lot now. And I might get rid of some of me manky ones and keep those ones. Moving on, more vehicles. We've got this one here, which is another Scania, I believe. No, it isn't, it's a Volvo. And this is a Corgi. One with a limited edition ticket in it, I think. I'm not sure. Now, I did buy some Locomotive bodies on the premise they might be saleable or useful for me for some of the ones I have now or may acquire in the future. Now, one of them I knew was not going to be 00, but it was this little chap. And I did buy this thinking that I may be able to put one of my 06 chassis on it. If this is an earlier one, I think it is possible. Maybe some of the end scalers can tell me. If not, there's everything there bar the drivetrain, I believe. The screws, the side rails, the brake details. It's quite weighty. Very nicely detailed little 08 shunter. Ivor. Surveyor, I know Bachmann do it in a 00. So yeah, I did buy that on the premise that I would probably sell it. But yeah, there's more there than I expected. So if it doesn't fit my little 06, it will be sold. I'm still on the fence with me end gauge as to what to do with that, because I can't see that I can incorporate a nice run of end scale within the intended layout. Now, another body I bought, they didn't specify what size it was, just a nice picture, and I looked at it and found, I think, a Lima Hornby body for more money than what I paid for this. But as you can see, it's not 00. So yeah, I did buy this one on the premise that I could sell it, which obviously that still stands the same. It's a newer one because it's got the lighting loom in it. That is again another nice little detailed end scale body shell. I don't know who it is, probably Graphar, I guess, Graham Farish. So yeah, that one is, well, I bought it either way. I was hoping it was 00, but it's turned out to be end scale. So let's hope that the other two I've purchased are 00. So, moving on swiftly, HEA, the Train Tech little module which is the welding simulator with 2 LEDs, one that sort of flashes and one that stays on and fades out to simulate the red hot cooling weld. Some point motor mounts for turnouts or switches, another Lima cement wagon, and strangely they charged only £12 for this one, which is my ceiling for a sea cow or sea line. Ballast wagon and a rail freight VGA. Didn't realise it was that one. It would have probably gone for a lot more money than what they were asking. Obviously it depends on who's on second hand that day. This is another Ford Capri, but it's the Mark 1. It had a boot lid and not a full hatchback, and I don't know what it is, 3 litre S. Whether it's Mark 1, no, it doesn't say. Might be with the black bonnet, that made them go faster, didn't it? And some HO scale Woodland Scenics track underlay. This is the roll stuff, not the strips, as you can tell from the box. This will feature in the next video, because I don't think there will be a time to cover the little find that I've acquired today. So, cars, going back to some I've just opened today. Another grain wagon for the HO side of things. That was the lorry. What have we got in here? Aha, yes, well this one's not N scale, thankfully. Looks like a Lima body, being that it's yellow. I think this was £7, so it was worth a punt. It will fit the Hornby ones. If I buy a Hornby TTS and want to backdate it to a rail freight sector, Mary Queen of Scoots. Yeah, so Lima 1 I suspected it was. I knew it was Hornby or Lima because of the little clips where the footsteps should be, which is how they hold the bodies on. So that was another cheapy one, and this was the one that started it all off. And that's a Hornby one, I would guess, because the Lima ones would be that yellow plastic. And we've got the louver surround for the air intake and some little light thing here. There's the cab light, if that belongs to it. Pass. Don't know, I'd have to take my other ones apart to see. And there's room there. Oh yeah, it could be there with the headlights. So we've got, well, that one's closed off. Don't know. There should be a bulkhead piece there then that's missing. Oh yeah, you can see the circuit board there. So that is the circuit board and bulkhead, so that goes there. So I think this one was £10. Someone is asking 59 quid for this on eBay. So needless to say, for £10 I snapped it up. Because if you remember, I have Bernie's one, which is Edward Elgar in the green or brown, I can't remember. Anyways, not network southeast for the period that I model in. So I wanted another body. With not much luck because they're bloody expensive until this came along. So this is a freaking bonus. So is that one? What have we got in here? Haha, yes, I remember. 12 quid. This one got snapped up fairly sharpish. For £12. And that looks, yeah, it's a manufactured one, not the kit one. So it's a little bit heavier. It's missing some of the decor panels, which I happen to have, don't I? Hence it was 12 quid. And I thought, oh, I've got those panels, so no problem for me. So yeah, that was snapped up pretty sharpish. Looks like it needs another KD coupling because that's a bit knackerated. That one's doubtless missing the spring. or worse. Something doesn't look right, but yeah. Anyway, we'll get a chance to play with them when we get a chance. I might even have a bit extra weight in that one. So yeah, that was it. I think that's it, yes. So if you want an 08 or a 33 body, give me a shout. Yeah, that's it. Right, see you on the next one, when I'll tell you how to save some money if you want to put some foam down on a TMD area.